Hey guys, this is Rene. Welcome back for another video on this channel. And I know there was a lot going on in the last few days. A lot of you guys are insecure, are shocked by the events happening. And one of the big thing is that prop firms are banning the MetaTrader 5. Also in the US, the MetaTrader 5 is not really an option because brokers are banning the MetaTrader 5. But there is a solution for this, and you can still use your existing programs for the MetaTrader 5 if you combine them with DXTrade, because DXTrade is the solution that most prop firms use right now and that I think many brokers use right now to still enable trading, just not with the MetaTrader 5. But if you still want to use your existing programs in the MetaTrader 5, you should definitely watch this video, because I will show you in this video how you can create a bridge between your MetaTrader 5 and the DXTrade platform or API or whatever you want to call it. So watch closely when we do this together now in the next few minutes. So what I want you to do first is go to the DXTrade website and no, let's start with something else. I will show all of these examples using a FTMO demo challenge, and I want you to open either a FTMO demo challenge or a demo challenge with any prop firm you like, or you can also open a DXTrade demo account by requesting the demo on the DXTrade website directly. I will show everything with the FTMO because I think for most people the prop firms are more relevant than the demo account with DXTrade, but the steps are completely the same. So on in FTMO, in your login area, membership area, you will just create a free new trial, and it's important that you choose DXTrade as a platform. So not MT4 or MT5, but we want to choose DXTrade. And then you should find your credentials here, and then you should see that the platform is DXTrade, and then you can click on open here. This should lead you here, and here you will just paste the username, which is just the login from FTMO, and you also copy the master password and paste it here in this password field. And then you can click on login, and this should log you into the DX trading platform or DXTrade trading platform, and then we are good to go. So how can we now trade automatically on this platform? Like, you could use the API of DXTrade only, but what I think would be the preferred choice for most people, also for me, I think, would be to use the MetaTrader and then just use a bridge to send the trades to the DXTrade platform, because this is then what we can use. So in the MetaTrader, you could use any account, any data feed, and then just run your EA there and then send the trades to the DX trading platform. So how can we do this? We can do this by using the DXTrade API. So if you are on the DXTrade website, again, we can go to APIs, which is here in the top menu, and this will open the DXTrade APIs. And if you click on DXTrade APIs here again, it will open the documentation for this specific API, and we want to use the REST API. It's really easy to access this API because it just uses the HTTP protocol, and you can just call specific addresses on the DXTrade server to trigger specific functions, events, whatever you want to do pretty much. So click on DXTrade REST API, and this will open the specific documentation for the RESTful API. So you can see here, this is the article that you should read, and you can see this is kind of long. No worries, you don't have to do everything on your own, because some of these points are kind of confusing. So this is why you should watch this video, to not fall for the same pitfalls or have the same issues that I had when I looked at this API for the first time, because I think at some points the documentation is not really perfect right now or can be confusing. But you should still read the introduction, of course. So basically we are sending get and post and also put and delete, but we will focus on post HTTP requests in this tutorial to get information from the DXTrade platform and to send orders and to log in and everything. So you can see here On the left side, you also have this navigator menu, and here we can see that, or if you read through this, first of all, we have to tell the DXTrade platform for what specific account we want to take action, we want to trade. So this is why we have to authenticate, yes, the right word, for our account. So the API knows that we are allowed to trade on this account, and this is done by using your username and password. And you can say here, this is the authentication process. There are two different versions. We have the basic authentication and the HMAC authentication. I have no idea how this works, but the basic authentication is what I figured out in the last hours. So this is what we will do. And you can see here in this documentation, everything is explained. So you can see this is what we want to do. We want to get a session token, because this is the token that we will then use in the next functions that we have a look at to tell the DXTrade platform or this API that we are indeed allowed to trade. So how does this work? We have this URL here. This is what we want to call, and then we want to post our username, domain and password to this specific URL. And we of course want to do this in the MetaTrader 5. And you could also use the Swagger UI here, which is a tool which is built in this API here of DXTrade, and you should use this if you want to check out some of the other functions. It was a tool that really helped me to learn more about the API, and you can find the link to this Swagger at the very top of this DXTrade documentation. But now let's go back to creating the session token. And if this is super confusing to you right now, no worries, let's start with the actual steps in the MetaTrader. So go to your MetaTrader 5, open the integrated development environment, and just create a new program, which we can call, for example, DXTrade Bridge. Choose whatever name you like, and then click on next, next, and finish. And by the way, of course, this will of course not be an absolute beginner tutorial, because I cannot explain variables and everything in this tutorial. This is more to the developers who already write their own expert advisors and who now want to use the DX trading platform or want to prepare for future events. Maybe the MT5 gets banned from prop firms completely, so you want to use the DXTrade platform. So I will just rearrange the code a bit so it fits my personal style of programming. I delete these comments, I rearrange these brackets, and then at the very top of our program, we want to make sure that we have some definitions here. And first of all, we want to define the base URL, and this is the URL that we want to send our HTTP request to. So it would be this pretty much. So this is the base URL that you use for all of the HTTP requests. So this is what we can copy here. And now put this of course in exclamation in quotation marks, because it's a string. Now there's one important thing that I really struggled a lot with when I had to look at this API for the first time, and I don't really know if this is in the documentation. I didn't see it. So this is the base URL that you use if you have a demo with DXTrade directly. So if you want to request the demo here on their website, and if you work with this demo account, then you will use this specific URL as a base URL. If you use FTMO instead, you will use a different URL, because in this case we want to use this URL here, which is dxtrade.ftmo.com. So then you will use the URL that is here, like in the FTMO branded platform, so to say. So instead of doing this, we will do it like this. And the rest will stay the same. So this DXSCA-web will stay the same. So this is now our base URL defined at the top. Also, we can go ahead and say we want to define our account number, because we will use this later on multiple times. And we will also use or do this as a string. And then also we want to define the password that we have with this FTMO or for this FTMO account. So where do you get this data? Of course, in your client area. Let's just copy the login or password or username or account name here, paste it here, and then we have the password. I can show you my password. This is of course a demo account I just created for this tutorial. So also copy your password here and paste it in this definition here. So these are my login credentials for the FTMO account. If you use a DXTrade demo account, of course, use the other URL and use the login credentials for this demo account. So as a next step, we want to start creating the login function. Login function. So this is the function that we will use to log into our DXTrade API, so to say. So what we want to do here is we want to send a web request. Web request. Oh, wait. Why isn't it showing the web request? There it is. So we want to send a web request. So we will use the web request function and make sure to not use the first signature or first variation or function here. Instead, we want to use this second one. So this is the web request we want to use. It's really important because this function also has the headers that we send to the DXTrade API, and this is important because in the headers we can define that we are sending a JSON type data, and also that we are later on we will need the headers to send our authentication token. So first of all, we have to get this authentication token, and this is what we do using this HTTP blah 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 /login function. So this is the URL that we want to call. So let's go to our code, and then we can say, for example, here string URL, and the URL is the base URL plus login, like this. So this will be the HTTP request that we do. And then of course also we need the post character array, we need the result array. This is what we will need for the web request function in a second. And then, as I said already, we will need the headers. So we need the headers, and the headers should look like this. We have the content type application JSON, and then we go to a new line. We can do this by having the R and the \n. This will pretty much just go to a new line at the beginning, and then we can add more headers, and we say accept application JSON also, because we will send JSON data to this specific URL here, because this is also what the what this URL expects. And you can read about all of this in the documentation, of course, because here you can see in the request part, this data here is expected. So we will have to send a username, we have to send a domain and a password. And then the response is also in a, it should also come in a JSON data format. But yeah, let's have a look at this in a second. First of all, let's get this HTTP request up and running. So these are the headers that we are sending to the server. Then we will also need an empty string for the result headers that are coming back from the server. And now, of course, we need the payload, so the data that we actually want to send to the server. And here we will need to send JSON data in a JSON data format. And JSON, the JSON data format is just a specific arrangement pretty much of data, like it follows a specific form, and this is the form the data has to be in. So it starts with this curly bracket. We have a key and value concept here, so we always have a key and then a value for the specific key, and usually the keys are in quotation marks, and the values, if they are string values, are also in quotation marks. If they are numbers, they are not in quotation marks. So JSON, if you never worked with it, it's just a format, a structure format or a text format, so to say, for a specific information. So yeah, you can read more about JSON. I won't cover this in detail here. Also, I'm not a super expert on this, but this is the format that we have to create and have to keep here in order to make this work. It's really important that you stick to this format. If you mess this up, your request will not work and you will get an error. So let's go ahead. And what we want to do is we want to write username. So like, actually we could copy it from here. Let's copy it and paste it here so we know exactly what we want to write. So let's start with this curly bracket here. Then we have username like this. Then we have username of the client, and this is our FTMO account number here in this case. So we will just, we just copy it from here and paste it here. Then the quotation marks. Then we go with the next key, domain. And this will of course not work, but I will show you how to fix it in a second. And then we will add the domain. And the domain, this is a little bit tricky because in the documentation here, I didn't really find it on the first glance. But the domain usually is just default. So just write default as the value for the domain key here. And then the last is the password. And here this will be, of course, the password that we get from the, or that we have for our FTMO account. Make sure to copy the whole password and paste it here. So yeah, this is now in the format that is requested. Of course, make sure to also add this ending curly bracket here. And then we need another quotation mark. So the question is now, does this work? And if I try to compile this, it doesn't. The problem is because here we are using MQL5 code pretty much. We wrap the JSON that we want to send has to be a string, but also we need additional quotation marks in this string to wrap the keys and the values. And this is a problem because whenever we write an additional quotation mark, it will, like the program thinks that this is the closing quotation mark for this first quotation mark pretty much. So what we have to do is we have to add a escape ladder, this, I think it's a backslash, in front of this quotation mark. And this is what we will do for all of these quotation marks that we use to wrap the keys and the values of this specific JSON string. So if we add it in front of all of the quotation marks here, you can see now the error will be gone. And what this does is we can now have this JSON string, and now all of these quotation marks are still part of this JSON string, but by the computer or the compiler, they are kind of ignored for the overall string here. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing, but this is how it works. And this is how you can make sure that you do not mess up your JSON here. And, oh yeah, the variable is not used. And here I forgot something, I think. Oh yeah, the return value. Yeah, let's make sure to just return 0 for now. But yeah, if you compile it, you will see there is no error anymore. So this is our JSON that we want to send, or payload that we want to send to the DXTrade server. So of course the web request doesn't want a string, but instead wants the data in this post character array. So this is really easy. We just say string to character array. We take our JSON string, we put it in the post array, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So, and then as a next step, we can already reset the last error, and then we send our web request. So web request, and here we want to say the method is post. We want to post the data to the server. URL is here from our URL variable. Then we have cookies, and here important, this is the signature or the type of this function that we don't want to use. Instead, we want to use this one with the headers. So we add our headers. Then we have the timeout. Yeah, you can just choose like 1,000 or 10,000 or 5,000, however how much milliseconds you want to give the server to respond here. 5,000 should be more than enough. And then we have the data, this of course our post data, and then we have the empty results array for the result from the server, and then we have the result headers that we don't really use, but we have to provide of course for the web request function. And now let's check what the result is. So we want to check if the result, if it is -1, and this is what you will probably see if you did not set the URL as allowed URLs in your MetaTrader, but I will show you in a second what happens. Wait, let me actually remove it first here from the allowed URLs. Let's go away with these. So I will show you how this error looks and how to fix it. And then we want to say print function web request failed. And then we say something like code get last error, like this. So compile, and if the result is not -1, we want to check if result is unequal to 100, because 200 usually means that it was successful, and if it's not 200, it was not successful. So here we also want to say function server request failed, and here we want to print the result that is coming from the server. And if everything was successful, then we want to say we want to get the message that was coming from the server. And here we can just say character array to string. And here we take the data from the result array. And yeah, actually we just take the whole array here. And then we can say something like function server request success, and then we say we also want to print the message. Okay, compile. So this is what you need to do in order to get the authentication up and running for your for the API to work. And also here in the end we want to return the result code from this login function. So of course also now we have to call this function. So let's do this in the onInit function maybe. Yeah, we don't really need the onDinit and onTick here. So if we now call the login function in the onInit, we can now run this program in the MetaTrader to check if everything's good. So go to your MetaTrader, activate the DXTrade bridge or whatever name you chose from the navigator to drag and drop it to any chart, click on OK, and we can see web request failed. And the problem here is of course, let's have a look at this error together so you know what's going on. This is a really common error that, that you can get. And here it says function is not allowed for call, and the problem is that this URL has to be of course free, or we just need like the base URL here. This has to be added to the allowed URLs in your MetaTrader 5. So what you do is you just copy this first part of the URL, you go to the MetaTrader 5, go to tools options, and you go here to like expert advisors, and down here you say allow web requests for listed URLs, and you just add this URL, click on OK. And if you run the program again, let me do this quickly. DXTrade bridge and go. And now we can see server request failed, code error, or code is 400. But we get a different error, and this is good. So now if you get this error 400, this is now the message that is coming from the DXTrade server. So if you have an error like this, you should go to the documentation here and have a look at the possible errors that you can see. It says 400, but okay, it's not here, but I think somewhere, here it says bad request. So I think the problem is that there's some problem with the header or the JSON data format. So this is also something you might see from time to time if you messed up your formatting. So what we want to do is we want to check all of this again. So make sure that there are no typing errors, and this is application / JSON R and N except application / JSON. Yeah, should be good like it is here. So let's check this JSON again. So we have the opening curly bracket. We escaped all of these quotation marks. The account number should be correct. Oh, and also we could, instead of doing it like this, we could of course also say plus account FTMO plus this, and here we could say of course plus password FTMO plus this, and escape this. And yeah, let me check this again. Okay, I think the JSON formatting here is correct, but what I messed up is, and when we use the string to character array function, we should explicitly say how big this array will be. So we say here from starting position 0, and then we will have to provide the count, and this is just string length or string len for this JSON string. And if we do it like this and compile again, now we hopefully do not see any errors anymore, and we don't. So we successfully connected to the API, and you can see it says login server request success, and we get the session token, which is here, and we get the timeout. So now this token here can be used for the next 30 minutes to do whatever you want with your DXTrade trading account. So what we can do now is we can get this session token and the timeout and store it in variables. So like in my sample program, I will just store it in global variables. So we say token and we get a datetime timeout like this. And now what we want to do is, since we have the information in this message here, we got to read it from this JSON data format. And for this, you can, of course, or in general, if you build more complex programs, it can make totally sense to use a JSON parser. And there are complete finished or existing solutions for this. You can just find it on MQL5, but in this tutorial, I didn't use it because I want to show it with just like the native MQL5 code that we have in the MetaTrader 5. We will write our own function real quick for this, and we can call it string get JSON string, for example. And what we want to do is here, we want to check or get JSON string value. We want to provide a JSON string, and we want to provide the key that we want to get the value for. So in this case, the key will be a session token and timeout. So what we do is, in this big JSON string that we have, we want to search for the starting index, and the starting index will be string find. So we are just searching in the big JSON, we are just searching for the key like this from the beginning on pretty much, and then we add the string length of the key plus 3, and this will be our index for the start. So a little bit confusing, I know. So what we're doing is, in this long JSON string, which is here, session token, colon, blah, 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 we are searching for the word session token. So we will find it here at position 12012 at index 2. Then we add the whole length of this word session token, which has like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 letters. So we add 2 plus 12 is 14. So we might be here. And then we add 1, 2, 3 more letters. So we get rid of this quotation mark, the colon, and the quotation mark. And then the actual value starts. So this is why we're adding the 3. And then we also want to get the index for the end. And here we just search for string find. We search in the JSON again. And we search for the next escape letter. And we start oh, wait. Yeah, like this. And we start at, it's not fill, it's find. And we start at the index start. So starting at index start, which will be the first letter pretty much of this key here, of this value, sorry. We are searching for the next escape letter, and this will give us here the information when the value is completed. So this will give us the value for a specific key, and then we can just say return string substring. And for our JSON, we just start at index start, and then we have a length of index end minus index start, like this. So now what we can do here is we can say string, and we say string token. Oh yeah, actually we can just say token is equal to get JSON string value from the JSON. Oh no, sorry, from the message. And for the key session token, like this. And then we can get the wait, what's the word? Timeout will be time current. Yeah, we can just calculate it. It's just time current plus period seconds, period M1 multiplied with 30, because I think the timeout is always 30 minutes for this API. So if we compile this, or we could also say print function, and we just print these values so we know we got them for sure. So let's print the token and also the timeout, like this. And if we compile this, whoopsala, we have some errors. Let me fix this. Yeah, forgot. Wait, like this. So what our program is doing now, it's still doing the same pretty much, but now we have the token stored in the token variable, and we have the timeout stored in the timeout variable, and it's just 30 minutes from now. So what can we do now? Using this token, we can now do pretty much everything with this API that we want, because the token is or proof that we have access to this specific account, so to say. So now we can use all of the other functions. But first of all, let's make sure that this token does not expire. So there's this ping function, because the token expires in 30 minutes, as we just learned. So we can use the ping function here to reset it if we are close to these 30 minutes. So let's add this ping function quickly here. And we will just create a new function for this. And no, let's say, for example, in the onTick function, you could do something like if time current is greater than timeout minus 300. So if we are 5 minutes close to the timeout, we want to ping. And let's write this ping function here. So we say int ping. And here what we want to do is, or what we can do is, I will just copy the whole login function, copy it and paste it here for our ping function. And we will make some adjustments, but a lot of this code here can stay the same actually. Of course, we will have to change the URL. It's no longer login, but it is ping, as we can see here in the documentation. Also, you can read here, now we are authenticated. I can't speak English. And now we can use our token in the header. And somewhere here you can read it, but yeah, I mean, we have to use the authorization in the header when we use the basic authentication. And this is exactly what we want to do. So since we changed the URL now, we also want to change the headers. So here at the end, we want to add authentication. Oh, wait, let me compare this, that I don't have a... Oh, no, it's authorization. Yeah, I don't know. I will just copy it so I don't have any typos. And I will just paste it here. So authorization and then a colon. And then this is really important. Now we have to add our token. So what we want to do now is, since our token is stored in this variable, we can just say plus token, and then also make sure to add the \r and \n, so go to a new line. And this is what you would normally do, right? Just add the token. And this is what I did when I started using this API, and this will not work, but I will show it to you in a second. And this is super confusing, but yeah, no worries. I got your back. I will show you the solution very quickly. Also, we do not need a JSON to ping because it's not requested, as you can see here. Like the request is just a empty request, so we don't have to post JSON data to the server just to ping. So we can just delete this here. Then we reset the last error. We post to this URL with the headers, blah, blah, blah. Everything can stay the same. And that's pretty much what we want to do. Let's add it here maybe real quick to the onInit function so we can check if it's working. Also, we don't really need to do this. Yeah, I mean, we want to update the timeout, I think, but we don't need to get the token again because the token will stay the same. But if we compile it like this, and now you can see we are still getting the login up and running. We get a new token, but when we try to ping, the server request failed. It's a 401 error. And if we read about this error, 401, you can see we are unauthorized, which means we somehow messed up we sent the wrong token. And this is like the solution of this is what I found when I had a look at the Swagger here. So just go to the Swagger UI, and here you can also test all of these functions really easily in this mask here. So what I want to do is I want to go to the ping function, and here you can now raise the authorization header is requested in the format DX API, and then the session token is requested. So we will have to add this DX API in front of the session token. And actually, you can be really grateful that I'm showing you this trick because it took me several hours, I think, to figure this out. So let's go to our code again, and let's find the header in our ping function, and let's just say authorization is DX API one space and then the token. And if we compile again, now we should see that our ping operation is working, and it is. So you can see we are able to log in and we are able to ping. So we ping the server, and it will just give us back the token again, but it's the same token, and timeout again, which is 30 minutes. So we can just update the timeout. And this is actually what we do in our ping function. We just update the timeout, and that's pretty much it. So normally, of course, usually you don't want to do it directly after login. Doesn't really make sense, but maybe you want to do it in the onTick function like this. So this would be a use case for the ping function. So now let's get to the most interesting part. How can we actually send orders to this DXTrade platform, or to the server here of the DXTrade platform? What we can do is we can create another function, of course, and let's do this here. We can say send order. And here we want to write a new function. So go to the very bottom of your program or below the ping function. And here we say int send order. And here we want to send a order. And so sending a order, of course, we will again have to send a web request. So what I want to do is I want to go to the login function again and copy this here again. And of course, you could probably make this more efficient, this code, but for now I will just do it like this. And I paste it here. And now we want to do some modifications. So for the send order function, in the URL, we do not add login, but instead, let's read in the documentation. We want to place orders, so we use this here. So we will have the base URL, of course, and then we will have accounts, account code, and orders. So let me just copy this, and let me paste it here instead of login. So paste, boom, there we go. So accounts can stay the same. For account code, no, we want to add our account. So instead of account code, I will write plus account account FTMO like this, and then we have orders in the end. And this is our URL that we want to use. And actually, again, this is a little bit tricky because in the end, this will not be the URL that we want to use. And it took me another several hours, I think, to figure this out because I'm either too dumb to read the documentation or the documentation is not really perfect for the DXTrade platform. But no worries, I got your back. Let's go with this for now, and then later on we will fix the error. For the headers, of course, we will again send the JSON data type, and we want to accept the JSON data type and everything. But we also want to add the authentication again, or authorization is it's called, I think. So authorization like this, colon, then DXAPI, one space, and then we add the token, and then we add the R and the N like this. So compile it like this, and yeah. This will, this will of course not work. We have to do some more modifications here. So now let's have a look at the JSON data that we want to send to the server. So you can read all of this, of course, in the documentation here. And what we want to send is a request with the single order request here. Boom, there we go. So this is pretty much what we have to provide. And this is a little bit confusing again. It greatly helped me to understand the API using the Swagger UI here a lot, because here you can also have a look at orders, and then you can have a look at submit a new order here. And if you open this, you can, for example, see what is requested here. And if you click on this here, you can see the order request can look like this. So what I did is I just copied this pretty much and added it to my program here, just as a information for myself. And what we will have to do is we have to fill this complex JSON request pretty much. And again, we have to use all of the escape letters and everything to not mess it up. But the good thing is that for market orders, and I will show this to you directly, so it will save us some time, we do not need the limit price, we do not need the stop price, we do not need the offset. So let's delete this right now. We also do not need the price link, and we don't need the margin rate, and we don't need the expiry date. Also, we do, wait, the rest is necessary, I think. Yeah, the rest is necessary. So this is what we have to provide. Oh, also we do not need the position code. So you can see now it's a lot easier already to build this JSON. If you're wondering what I just deleted, the other stuff can be useful if you want to send TP, stop loss, if you modify an order, but for sending a market order, you do not need it. If you're interested in doing all of the other kind of stuff, this is your best friend, the documentation of this API, and you can read about this here. But for now, let's just add what is really necessary for us here. So first of all, we can say this JSON string here, we want to build this now again. So let's say let me delete this quickly here, because this was for the login, but now we need a different JSON, of course, to send the information that is needed to send the order. So what we want to do is here, we want to say account, and don't forget get all of these escape letters or you will mess it up. And then we have a escape, blah, like this. And then we want to have the account number. So here we will just add the account FTMO plus like this, escape. Yeah. Can be confusing. What I did is I used the string concatenate, and I think I will do it here again, where we can just add or create our own JSON and store it in this string variable. And what I did is I just rearranged it here so it really looks like a JSON also here. It makes it easier to read. So what we want to do here is we want to say we first of all have this opening bracket, of course, then we just move to a new line like this, and then here we have now the account, blah blah blah, account FTMO like this. We have this comma here, and then we move to a new line. And then we have the order code. Oh wait, like this, order code, like this. And then the order code is actually interesting because the order code has to be a unique number or a combination of numbers and letters. I'm not really sure, but it has to be unique for every single order. So for example, if you're sending the first order, it could be 1. If you are sending another order, if you want to modify this order, it could be 2, but it could not be 1 again. So it has to be a unique order code. I don't know what's the reason for this, but this is how the API is built. So let's just go with 1 for now, and it is a string value. So yeah, make sure that you do it like this. And then the next is the type. And here for sending market orders, you can just say market. Oh, it's all capital letters like this. Escape. Wait, escape. So like this. Yeah, this JSON formatting is super confusing. And just make sure to not mess it up and take your time and really make sure to maybe also use a JSON parser if you want to work with this more. It will make life easier, I think. So instrument is backslash blah, and here the instrument is euro US dollar. This is just the instrument name that you have at FTMO, and then we have the quantity backslash quotation. And here it's important, here we do not need the backslash quotation because now it's a number. And numbers in JSON, in the JSON format, are not wrapped with a quotation mark. So here it's important, it is not a lot size that is requested. It's not this. This instead would be 10K or 10K like this. So it's not in lots, but it's just in absolute trading volume. It's also a little bit confusing first, but I mean, of course, you just have to do it like this. It's not super confusing in the end. And then we need the position effect. And if you want to open a position, the position effect is open. And if you're wondering how I know all of this, you can read about it in the documentation, of course. And then we have the site. The site has to be buy if you want to buy, and it has to be sell if you want to sell. So like this. And now we have, last but not least, the TIF, which is, it stands for, I don't know, what is, it stands for time in force. So here you can read about all of this, and it's also like explained in more detail here. So just make sure to read everything if you want to use this API. So time in force will be the last parameter that we add, TIF, and like this. Oh, wait, not like this. This is not needed here. Yeah, like this. And the TIF is just day for us here. This will make sure that the order will live for the whole day. Oh no, sorry, I was wrong. It's good to cancel because we want this order to stay alive until we cancel it. And that is pretty much it, I think. So this is what we have to do. I forgot some quotation marks. And then, oh wait, I forgot some more. Yeah, just make sure to really take your time to do the formatting for this JSON. I know it's super confusing. I was also super confused, but if you just use the JSON parser, I think it will be easier. But yeah, just make sure to stick to the JSON data format. And then we have the closing curly bracket here, of course, and we close the round bracket for the string concatenate. So if you did everything like this, we can delete this because this was just a helper for me. And then after creating this JSON string, we want to put the JSON string into the character array. So this can be the same, of course. And then we send this JSON to the server. So let's compile this and let's see what happens. And as I said, this will not work. And we get the error 404. And if you read about this error in the documentation, 404, it means that we did not find the account. And super confusing, took me a while to figure out what's going on and how I can fix this. And you cannot just use the account, but instead you always have to add default. I don't know if this has to be done for every account and what the specifics are here for the API, but for me, for this account, I had to add default : in front of the account number. So I have to do it here in the URL. Also, I have to do it here in the JSON payload. So here I also have to say default : and then the account number. So if I do it like this again, and now we can have a look at if I'm still logged in. Yes, I'm still logged in here. So here we should see that it will send an order in a second. Let me run the program again by just compiling it. And compile. So now we should see that it is saying, yeah, now we get the error 409 for sending the order. So it still doesn't work, but of course I have to show you some of the errors. And this error means conflict. And this is, again, it's a bit confusing, but this is because of the order code. I used order code 1, but when I was preparing this tutorial for you guys, I already used order code 1. So now the API will not accept 1, but instead I can go with something like 6, because I didn't use 6 so far. So if I compile it again, now we can see that it is sending the order. And we should hopefully see it here in the account now. Yeah. There you go. It sent the order automatically to the DX trading platform for my FTMO account. So you can see this order, or we can see it in the history. We should see it in the history. In the trade history, we see it. Yeah, I'm not really used to working with this platform, but you can see like this is the order that I just sent. No, this is the last one, is the order that I just sent. And you can see it's a buy order. We opened it. Trading volume is 10K. So everything is like according to what we added here in our JSON. And yeah, it's a buy. It's 10K. We opened euro US dollar. And I could now say USD Japanese yen, for example, and I want to go with 0.11 lots like this. And I want to sell. If I compile it like this, you will see it will not work. Because, yeah, it just failed. And also, yeah, of course, we in the send order function, of course, we do not want to update the token and the timeout here. So just delete this. And yeah, of course, this fails now with the error because I used the 6. So we have to choose, for example, the 7. And of course, if you want to write a working program, you would have to find some way to automate this. Not super complex, of course. But if I go with 7 now and now check if I can send the server request. Server request was sent successfully, and we do see the 0.11 lots sold in USD Japanese yen. So yeah, that's my little introduction into the DX trading platform and the API. And I'm really interested if some of you guys want to see this, and if people even watch this video. It's just my first explanation for this API. I hope that some of the tricks, like adding the default and everything, is saving some time for one or two of you guys. And yeah, let me know if you want to see more of this. I think in general, generally speaking, if you can use the MT5, do it, because using this API is just unnecessary, complex, and yeah, it's just a lot of work, of course. But if you cannot use the MT5, this might be useful for you, because here you can see you can use the MetaTrader 5 to just do the analysis, write the programs, and then just use the bridge or build a bridge like I did here to send the orders to the DX trading platform. And you could, of course, add a lot more functions, like also adding TP, stop loss, adding code that could modify orders on the DXTrade account. And yeah, this can all be done using the API. If you want to read more about this, you can do so on the DXTrade website. You can find the whole documentation. And again, make sure to use also this Swagger UI here to learn more about the functions. It can be really helpful, but make sure to create a create a demo account directly with DXTrade, because the Swagger UI doesn't work with a different base URL than the base URL for the original DXTrade platform. So you can use the Swagger UI, or I was able to use it only with a demo account from DXTrade directly. But yeah, let me know what you think about this. Hope it was helpful for you guys. And this is how you can connect your MetaTrader 5 with the DX Trading Platform API. Thumbs up if you liked it. Recommend it to your friends and your family. And also, yeah, have a great day. Good trades. And I'm out. Bye.